This is Andi Purewal for...
Hey, Joe, you should be getting in here as well, mate.
This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing, and I'm joined by Dillian Whyte here in Bournemouth. Dean, how are you? Are you enjoying the seaside?
Who are they? ID Boxing. Who are they? New kids on the block?
I wouldn't say new kids on the block, mate. We've all been around for a while, but...
Put it in your leg. It's all good, man. Come on, my guy.
How are you doing, mate? How are you finding Bournemouth so far?
Come on, champ. Yeah, no, all is good, you know. Bournemouth, it's quite nice. It's not raining, so that's the main thing, so we can be concerned about. I did check the weather. I knew it wasn't going to be as sunny. Tomorrow's very sunny, so, you know, I'm prepared for tomorrow. And I'm looking forward. I'm inviting the weather, the energy, and the sun in.
So we're going to find you on the beachfront, top off, swimming shorts on.
Derby out here, mate, but I don't know, but I'll be somewhere, yeah. I'll be somewhere floating. Maybe in the bar, though.
Dean, obviously we're here, Chris Billam-Smith, Usyk-Chamberlain, the headline event. I spoke to Matt earlier, who's just next to me. I'm going to ask you the same question. We know Chris has been very active over recent years. Usyk, not so much. How much of a factor do you feel that will play on Saturday night?
Obviously, sometimes inactivity does play a part, but then sometimes when you're active and you have hard fights, those kind of things, the wear and tear of being in hard fights, sometimes takes its, you know, it takes its toll on you. So Usyk probably be the fresher man in terms of the inactivity. By saying that, Usyk went and fought the guy that Lawrence Okoli fought and got rid of him in one round, and Okoli took 5. So we don't know how this is all going to bow and gel. But what I would say is, you would look at it and say the what's the word I'm looking for? That, like, the incentive in terms of the front runner, it would be with Chris Billam-Smith, because he's faced the more stellar, stronger and better opponents at this stage. But Usyk's is a very, very talented guy that's just been inactive, and a lot of guys have come from behind and got in front of him. So now he's got his opportunities with Hennessy. He's been active a little bit to a degree, because there was years where he was inactive. Now he's had a little bit more activity. This is opportunity to steal the lime and the thunder and steal those belts. I'll be rooting for Usyk, because he's one of the men from my gym in McGill's, and he's from my neck of the woods. Grew up sparring with Usyk, with Dillian and us. So, you know what I mean? I'll be rooting for him. It's going to be a hard fight, man. It's by no stretch of the imagination. This is a real, true test, because Chris Billam-Smith is durable, fit and strong, and will continue punching. Richard had a hard fight. Richard didn't stop him. So some would say Usyk might not stop him, but yeah, again, Usyk's a good body puncher. So, and the combination punch is what he does is different to Richard. So sometimes when you walk onto a shot, it's different. So let's see what it is. I wish him all the best, and I'll be rooting for him.
Do you think that might be the key for Usyk to be successful on Saturday night, to work the body of Chris Billam-Smith?
Absolutely. Listen, if you're a boxer, you always got to go to the body, and then the hands will drop. Then you go to the head. When they start doing that, you go back to the body, and that's just the science of boxing. But you know, a lot of boxers are head hunters, and you know what I mean. So let's see what he does. But he goes to the body well, and I think he'll continue to do that same trend.
People talk about the potential rematch between Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe. You know Richard very well, but how big could a fight between Usyk-Chamberlain and Richard Riakporhe be?
Listen, they're both from McGill's Boxing Club, man. I mean, same fighting gym as amateurs. I mean, friends and colleagues or whatever. I don't know, it'll be a huge fight, a real London derby, but I mean, they're both on the same kind of side of the pond, side of the street at this junction. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think that'll do, because they are friends. I don't know, some friends would fight and some wouldn't, but it all depends on what the numbers are. I mean, it'll be a great fight though.
Benn Whittaker makes his long-awaited debut. Dean, how excited are you to see him for the first time?
Yeah, listen, what a talent, man. They've got a nice talent. Obviously, Sky have signed him, Benn Whittaker. Lovely guy, very good manners. Know his dad. I've known his dad for a while, to be honest, and I mean, he's grown up. I didn't realise it was his son until a later time. And now his son's grown up, they're in the sport of boxing and doing their thing. And now that we're going to, you know, as an amateur, he's done a lot of good stuff. So Saturday night, we're going to see what all the noise is, and if it lives up to it. I'd like to see what kind of a caliber of opponent they've given him, to see how fast they plan on moving him. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I think whoever he faces, he's going to do his business on Saturday night regardless.
Ben in the past has spoken about potentially fighting for a British title in 5 fights' time, within his first 5 fights rather. That's currently held by Dan Aziz. He faces Shakan Peters, somebody else you know very well.
Listen, I know both guys very well. Funny, I had a big conversation about that to Benn Whittaker, and I said to him, you know, we must respect the pro ranks. I know you've done a great job as an amateur, but we must respect the pro ranks. This isn't 3 rounds, this isn't 4 rounds. Those fights are 10 and 12 rounds, and the championship rounds cannot be confused You know, unless you're a big puncher, then we understand that. But if you haven't done those rounds, when you reach 10, 11, and 12, it's something totally different. And Dan Aziz is a whole different monster. Being disrespectful to even suggest that you want to fight him and beat him, I understand having belief in yourself is one thing. And me and him had this conversation. He said, you know what? I totally agree with you. I believe he's got the ability to be a great talent and do great stuff, but he needs to take the right fights at the right time. And I understand he's confident in his ability. Why not? But someone like Dan, I mean, listen, Dan's not messing around. Dan's a old school Sugar Ray Leonard style boxer, got a good jab, can punch, knows how to box, knows how to rough people up in the ring. All of that plays a part when you're in the ring. This silk boxing is okay until you get dragged into a dogfight and you start to wrestle and tire, and then the game plan goes out the window when they're leaning and you're sitting on your chest and they're getting busy. So, I mean, listen, let's see what happens. Hopefully down the line he gets the fights he's looking for, but I feel like they need to give him the right fights at the right time.
Dean, moving away from this card, get your thoughts on a few other things. Benn and Eubank Jr, a fight which has been spoken about over the last couple of weeks. How much of a surprise was it to you to see that fight resurface as a potential bout?
Yeah, no, I was a bit shocked, to be honest. It's funny, it's a conversation I had many years ago with some people about it, but obviously this disparity with the weight classes was like, I think Ben was boxing at, Eubank was boxing at super middleweight, and then Ben was boxing like welterweight, 140, somewhere around there, and then he's come up, and like he's in tremendous shape. He's a tremendous athlete, a tremendous student of the game that puts it all in there. He's in tremendous shape, and now it's come to this junction that both guys can be similar in and around the weight classes. I'm in my experience and my belief, I feel that Eubank might struggle to get under 160, and if he does get under 160, he's not going to be the Eubank we know and see, because he's going to be weight drained. And does he perform at that weight too good? I don't know how he takes punches. A lot of guys, when they drain themselves, they don't perform, they don't take punches well. So I'd like to see that, you know, if they're going to do that, maybe do it at 160 where it's comfortable and it's even, in terms of not either guy doesn't weight drain themselves, so then we have that excuse, so I was weight drained, you brought me down too low, they made a catch, you know, rehydration and all those kind of stuff. If they're going to do it, Benn going up a little bit for legacy and history. Listen, as boxing fans, I grew up with Ben and Eubank, the Destroyer, and all this kind of stuff, so to see their sons grow up and evolve into such talents that they can be fighting at such a level is an amazing feat, you know what I mean? So I'd want it to be where both guys and the level where they're at is equal, so there is no excuses, and we have a hell of a fight and make the best man win.
Dean, I also want to get your thoughts on Sky picking up the UK rights to the Anthony Joshua-Alexander Usyk rematch now. That one was, again, when AJ announced his deal with DAZN, everybody assumed that the fight would take place on there over in the UK. That's not the case. What was your thoughts when you saw Sky picked up the bout?
Yeah, no, I did hear it a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know, it's business, man, it's show business, man. Maybe, I don't know what happened there, but you're right. A lot of people did think that. Someone fumbled the bag somewhere, and whatever offer was put in wasn't enough, and now Sky seems to have the show, but good luck to them. Let's see how it all turns out. I'm not really too fussed in who wins and who doesn't. You know, Sky has been on Sky mainly. We always normally tend to watch it on Sky. That might have been DAZN's first gig, but listen, they'll come again, they'll be just fine.
What are your thoughts on the fight? Obviously, it's only a few weeks out now, Dean. People would probably say this is the biggest fight of Anthony Joshua's career, because defeat here, where does he go?
It's a fight for his legacy, you know. It's a fight for the history of these belts and him, where it defines his whole career. Because a lot of people are saying, if he loses, where does he go? What's next for Anthony Joshua? You know what I mean? But to be honest, I think at this junction with a lot of these guys, people always say, if this guy loses, where did he go? But Derek Chisora is a prime example where a lot of these guys, he's lost many times and he's still a pay-per-view fighter. So it's a strange one, but look, I'm going to be rooting for Joshua to get the win. It is a hard fight. I feel like I need him to be a little bit more physical, impose himself, especially in the clinches, because he was clinching and then letting go. But Usyk's a hell of a fighter, man. His amateur pedigree shows it. Coming into the pro ranks, he showed it. And mate, it's southpaw. Listen, they're absolute nightmares, southpaw. I just think Joshua needs to actually use every dirty trick he can find in the book, every advantage he can to get the win. I don't care really. So it's one of them.
How would you rate his chances?
It's a hard fight. It's like, look, what you got to bear in mind is Usyk's only going to be better. He's become the champ. His country's in a war-torn situation. He's got that on his back, so he's carrying his country. He's carrying that. He's the champion now. And the second thing, he now knows he's been in there with Joshua, he's taken his best shot, and he's got an idea how to defeat him and do it even better now. Because the 12th round, if there was 50 seconds more, how would that have ended? You know what I mean? So he now knows what maybe the adjustment he needs to do to get the win. Maybe he presses it earlier or later, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Dean, how's Dillian? What's the latest with him?
Yeah, Dillian's good, you know. Yeah, Dillian's good, man. He's chilling. Obviously, him and the team are planning and basically looking at what's on the table. They're talking to many different people, as I'm sure Eddie said, and looking at what the best place Dillian comes back in, where he fits in well, and where he can get the best fight and the best money.
Two names I want to put to you to see whether or not they're achievable. One's been Deontay Wilder. I've asked you about him before, but I saw after Derek's winning against Purew, people mentioned him for a potential trilogy with Dillian. Do you think Dillian would be open to that or no?
I think that fight will always be there. It's not necessarily now. Dillian wants to be right back in the table in the argument for world title honours. That Chisora fight is always going to be there, even in 2 years' time. So Dillian needs to want to worry about coming back to seeing who's on the table, can get him into that position. So he needs to see. And I'm sure you will have an announcement soon. They're looking at people, and let's see what happens.
Deontay Wilder, we know how dangerous he is. Would Dillian be happy to face somebody like that without a title on the line?
Yeah, but Deontay Wilder already said he's not interested whatsoever.
What did you make of it when he said that he wasn't interested in the fight?
I just thought it was a bit silly, but maybe he wants to come back with easier fight. But I heard he's fighting Helenius. That's not an easy fight either. Helenius can punch, he can box. So, it's quite a strange one. But look, let's see what happens, man. I think a great fight. Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte, brilliant fight in the UK. Will sell out wherever it does. And I think there's other fights for Dillian. You got Joe Joyce that's there. You've got the new WBA regular champion Daniel Dubois. So I think there's fights out there that are possible for Dillian. So let's see what happens, and let's hear what's going to go down on the grapevine on once it's announced. You know what I mean?
Final one, talk of Tyson Fury potentially facing Thor in an exhibition bout. Just get your thoughts.
I mean, look, they've been talking about that for a while. Have you noticed they've been kind of throwing subliminals and little hints? Because what they're trying to do is get you prepared for their eventual announcement. I think it's a good fight. I saw Thor fight the other big kid. He seems to understand a little bit about boxing. Big old brute, tough, strong as a fucking brick shit ass. Tyson will just box rings around him.
All right, Dean, we'll leave that there now. Leave to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.